is Malena. I graduated from the University of Life. This lesson is very important because the first one I did was reset, and this one is regarding how do you start a new reality. How do you start a new reality? So the way that you start a new reality, you begin by forgiving yourself. We're all thinking like, I'm gonna forgive the person who hurt me in the past, whatever happens to me. No, we're gonna be forgiving yourself for everything that has happened to you. What do you mean forgive myself for the things that have happened to me? I mean, this horrible person did this to me, or I had this bad experience at work. It doesn't matter what it is, what it was. It doesn't matter. What is important is that you start to forgive yourself. Why? Because like you're going to be learning through these lessons is that everything that happens to you is a direct cause of what you created for yourself. It took me forever to learn that, but I got it, and now I understand that it is us who do everything to ourselves. So it's going to be a little bit hard because we're going to be concentrating on how to forgive ourselves, right? So we have this exercise that you can do, and it's easy. You're going to write the feelings that you remember. This is difficult, okay? So you're going to write down the feelings that you had at the time that whatever happened to you. You're going to start to write down, I felt sad, I felt scared, I felt tired, I felt helpless, I felt hopeless, I felt that there was no exit, I felt depressed, all those feelings and why do you write it down? Writing is a very important thing to do in life because when we write down things, they literally come out. Have you ever noticed that when someone tells you, I love you very much? Oh my gosh, it feels amazing. But then they write you a letter or a text. I love you very much. That text, whenever you feel like, oh, you open it and you read it and you kind of like enjoy it and embrace it. So writing is always important. It is important to write it because it gives meaning to that happened to you and kind of gets it out of your system into a paper, right? Acknowledge your feelings. Acknowledge your feelings. Cry if you want to. Scream if you want to. Go somewhere and sit alone with yourself. And there's nothing wrong with crying. A lot of us want to be strong because let's say we have children, or strong because we don't want mom to feel sad to see us sad. You know, we kind of try to put some kind of a face in front of people so they won't see that we are hurting. So we started like to try to be strong when we are really hurting inside, right? So what do? You go to a place all by yourself. Doesn't matter where it is. And you just cry. To just be vulnerable to yourself. To just allow yourself to feel with all your soul whatever it was that was there. Anything you lost, anyone you lost. Let it sink in and let it feel in your heart what it is. Don't allow yourself not to go through the whole grieving process. Because if you don't go through the whole grieving process, a lot of times we get stuck in there. We get stuck in that feeling. I have my grandma, I don't know if this is a thing of the past, but my grandma and my mom in my older generations, they go, oh my God, I remember like 40 years ago, so-and-so did this to me, and I can't believe you're still talking to your auntie. You forgot she did this to me 30 years ago. I said, like, oh, she did that to you 30 years ago. You did not work, or that person did not work in the old times, or maybe now, with their feelings, with allowing themselves to heal, not to forgive, because, oh, let's forgive each other. No. You have to forgive yourself. You have to allow the pain that you have go through your body. Allow it to come out. Write it down. Don't deny yourself from that pain. Please don't, because what happens is you keep it. When you keep it, it manifests in other relationships. Let's say you left this horrible person. Oh, a new one. He's nice, he's so romantic, and suddenly he's doing the same thing to you, or she's doing the same thing to you like the last one. Why? Because you did not Go through the process of forgiving yourself to be able to start a new reality. You did not allow it to be. You started, let's see, dating at 17, 18, 19, and 20, and now you're 30, and you're still in the same uncertainty of not finding the right person. Why? Because first of all, you did not forgive yourself. Second, you did not allow that hurt to go through your entire body. You did not write it down. You did not acknowledge your feelings. You did not give yourself the chance to grieve. The grieving process is very important. That denial, of course, is normal. Oh no, it's not happening. But suddenly you realize, oh, it is happening. The most important part of that grieving process is the acceptance that it happened. It happened. Shit happens, and it happened. Done. But because you went through the whole grieving, the crying, the everything, the sleeping 10 hours, you allow your body to heal, and you are forgiving yourself for that. Grieving is very important when you're able to follow the entire grieving process. You don't stay on the crying, not acceptance. I don't accept it didn't happen, blah, 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 blah. Suddenly you're in another relationship and you did not heal from this one, right? So guess what? You're gonna have the same experience all over again. And no one is gonna take care of you, and no one is gonna know exactly what you're feeling. The only one that knows what you're feeling is you. The only one that knows what's going through your heart and your soul and your tears and your everything is you. Nobody knows. Even if there is someone that cares for you, a badass BFF who cares about you, even that person will not know. Even your mom will not know. It is only you who knows how it hurt, how it happened. You know the details. In every divorce, there's two people, and in those two people, there is one version and one version, and the third party doesn't know exactly what happened in that marriage when they divorced. None of us can be like, oh my gosh, she was terrible. Oh my goodness, he was horrible. No, nobody knows exactly what happened and why it happened, except for the person that's going through that divorce, through that separation, through that cheating, betrayal, you name it. Nobody knows. The public can say whatever, but the one that was hurt, the one that took the cheating, the one that took the betrayal, is the only one that knows in deep in her heart what really happened. And deep in that heart, with all that pain, has to deal with what everybody thinks and what everybody says, what they're gonna think about yourself. That doesn't matter. What matters is what you're feeling, what you're going through, what you want to be with yourself, right? So you're going to start a new reality, but there is no way that you can ever start a new reality if you do not work with your feelings, with your true feelings. Accept what you're feeling. Do not blame anyone. That's another big mistake we all make. We blame others for what happened to us, right? Look at the unfortunate thing that happened with the fires. As difficult as that is, homes are totally burned. You find yourself not sleeping ever in your bed ever again. You're sleeping somewhere else. Family member, hotel, whatever you name it. And there's no one you can blame. It happened. And it was a terrible thing that happened. It is a very unfortunate thing that happened. And we can blame this in the water department and you name it, and the government and the arsonists, you name it, but some houses burned and some houses didn't. What happened, and there's nothing you can do. But what you can do is now work with those feelings, work with the sense of that what you lost, that you can never be in your home again, or that's never gonna come back, or a person you lost that you love so much is never gonna come back. Work with those feelings, as difficult as it is. Don't abandon yourself. Don't abandon yourself to the point where you literally abandon yourself and then suddenly 1 year passes, 2 year passes, 3 year passes, 5 year passes. You're no longer 20, you're no longer 22, 23, 24. You're probably older. It doesn't matter. Obviously, time is liquid. Time is fluid. We just made it, but humanity, we age and time goes by, and then that's it. So why don't you work really hard on yourself? You cannot blame anyone for what happened to you, because what is done, and it's done. And if you fall in love with that event will follow you for the rest of your life. What happened yesterday, if you don't heal it, you bring it to your beautiful present. Because one of the things you're going to learn in this channel is that life is delicious. Period. Life is delicious. There's a beautiful creation out there. Life is delicious. You cannot be bringing that past here. If this is a terrible, traumatic experience that happened to you, work with it. Work with it. Work with it. Heal yourself. Heal yourself. But how do you do that? You literally write it down. You write down, I felt so sad, blah, 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 right? I felt blah, blah, blah. But one important thing about that is to try to remember how you were before the incident. Try very hard to remember that person that you were before it happened. And why is it important to remember who you were before that happened? For example, people that have been in domestic violence situations, and then they come out of the domestic violence. They're no longer in that relationship, and now they're single moms or single dads or single. Are you the same person that you were before that traumatic experience of living, let's say, with a narcissistic person, narcissistic abuse? Are you the same? You probably are not. So it's very important that you write down who you were before that happened. Because sometimes that brings a lot of healing. How was I? Many people literally were very naive before it happened. They were very trusting, very blah, blah, blah. And they just were vulnerable. They gave too much without receiving. And that was okay for them. And then suddenly it was not okay anymore. Right? So it's very important you write down who you were before it happened. Because one of the things for you to be able to heal yourself, to be able to forgive yourself, is to know who you were before it happened. Like when they say, well, what were you doing before the accident? Oh, let me write down what happened. Where were you at on November 7th at 6 p.m. When they're investigating a crime, they always go through the details of what happened from the beginning. They go through the camera footage. They go through the witnesses. They go through the brothers and sisters. They go to where that person was many years ago to find out what the heck happened. It's exactly the same thing with you. You have to investigate yourself. Why am I here? Why did this happen to me? Why I can't get out of it? Why am I broke all the time? Why I never have money for this, money for that? Why? What happened? Did you not forgive yourself somewhere? Did something happen? Did I often drive in the streets when I see homeless? I'm thinking in my head, what got them to that corner without shoes, in the cold, with nothing? Everybody will go, oh, he's a drug addict. Yes, but what happened before that led to this and led to that, right? There's hundreds of addicts that are sober, and they're sober for years, and they're healthy and happy and moving on. But I'm sure they did one thing, 100% I bet you. If you're hearing me, you will know. You forgave yourself and you were able to move on. Forgiving yourself is so difficult because we judge ourselves. We blame ourselves. But worst, we blame others. We blame others. We said that piece of did it. We blame others. That's the worst. I mean, that's difficult not to do. You know, when you're driving and someone goes in front of you and go, it was his fault. That's why we all crash, right? We blame others. But a lot of times when you drive with caution, you look left and right and you pray in the morning before you go out. whatever you do, don't blame others and don't blame yourself. Forgive yourself. Things happen, life happens, and everything is just happening at the same time. Here, now, in this dimension, that dimension, and many other dimensions, many things are happening at the same exact time. And once you're able to transgress into each one of them during the day, during the present time, you're able to find yourself and think of how you cure yourself after it happens. Because it's a matter of curing yourself, of getting yourself healed from whatever trauma happened. Therapy helps. Talking to other people helps. Talking to good friends. And even if some friend just goes and judges you, you go, whatever. This was not a friend, you go to the next one. Let's say you have no one to talk to. Now there's even AI friends you can talk to. You can talk to. As long as you write it down, talk it out, bring it up, be proactive to heal. And one of the things, the reason why therapy works is because when you go to a therapist, you repeat the same thing over and over again. And the 10th time you repeat it, by that time you start listening to yourself and saying, Jesus, makes no sense anymore. I'm done. I feel much better. Why do you think you feel much better? Because you got it out of your system. Just like we put food, we also put wisdom. We also put prayers. We also put meditation. We also take out hurt. We take out whatever comes out of our body when we don't feel good. We work really hard on ourselves, but if you abandon yourself, you will never, under no circumstances, be able to have a new reality. All you're going to have is the same thing happening over and over again. You can have good things happening over and over again to you, like money flows to you easy. Only good things happening to me today. I'm wealthy, healthy, and happy. Life is delicious. But to get to that point and be honest that you're feeling happy about it, it takes a lot of work. And it takes honest work. You honestly need to stop blaming circumstances, bosses, co-workers, neighbors, boyfriend, girlfriend, suegras. Well, suegra is the mother-in-laws. You have to stop blaming. You have to stop blaming them. You just have to. Because we attract everything. Believe it or not, we do. And I smile because later I'll tell you why. Okay? Not now. But I'll tell you why. I know that 100% that we attract everything that happens to us. Happiness, money, love, we attract it. Poverty, hunger, tears, heartbroken, we attract that too. Cheating, we attract it. Everything. And if you ever get cheated on, and you have to make that decision. Do I forgive this piece of crap, or do I keep him or keep her? But if you keep her, you need to know two things. She might cheat on you again, right? Or she might not. But if you forgive them and you want to stay with them, you never mention it again, ever. It's just because you chose to stay, so you never ever mention it. You start from the beginning to forgive yourself, to let it out, to go through the grieving process, and then you stay with them because you chose to stay with them. So now you don't bring it up. You start to attract the best because that's what you want and you made that choice, right? That's another chapter where we're gonna see why people cheat. That's a totally different subject, okay? The main subject here today is that you start working with your healing, because in the last lesson we were talking about reset, but there's no reset if you do not work on yourself, if you do not work on healing yourself, if you don't work on writing down what happened, if you don't work on knowing how you felt at that time, if you don't work on writing down how you were before it happened, if you don't go through the whole process of understanding what happened to you. And also understanding that you cannot blame anybody, because if you blame somebody, you stay there. You cannot, and me or no one can ever change anyone. Ever. We don't even have that power to do that. You have the power to change yourself. You have the power to react however you like. You have that beautiful freedom to react however you want to anything that comes to you. Anything that comes to you. You have that power to react. You don't have the power of how other person is going to react. Oh, she was supposed to say that. I can't believe she didn't say that. Well, you don't have the power for anyone to say whatever you like. But you do have the power to attract through you, through your healing, through you forgiving yourself, through you understanding yourself, through you meditating and being a new person. Believe me, I'm going to bring more resources for Joe Dispersa. He's amazing on his meditations. Meditation is important because you silence your mind. You silence your mind. You forgive yourself. You do not allow pain to come through you or to you, because your mind is the one that's saying all kinds of stuff to yourself. You're dumb, you're fat, you never lose the weight. Oh my God, I got so drunk last night. I have this hangover. Oh my gosh. Your mind starts to say all this stuff about you to yourself. Oh, I'm not going to be able to pay the mortgage. I'm not going to be able to pay the rent, my car payment, my insurance, blah, 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 blah. Your mind starts going all kinds of stuff to you. But when you start changing yourself, silencing your mind, embracing yourself with what's coming in today, and learning that today is your best day ever. Your best day ever. Life is delicious. Life is not for you to suffer. You didn't come and you did not born to suffer. But all of us go through, because we're so many of us and we're all think totally different. We're totally different. Obviously, you're going to have adversity. Obviously, you're going to have all these different kinds of opinions. And things are going to come to you. Things you didn't even expect. Like a child that's going to be eating his ice cream and the ice cream falls on the floor. It happens. It happens. And it will always happen. The ice creams that fall on the floor. We can't eat it. It's on the floor. But we can do what? We can go buy another one. If you lose someone you love, they transition, you're going to say, well, I cannot bring him back. But you can bring whatever legacy they left to you. The memories, the times, the lessons. They just transition. They're with us. They will never leave, just like you will never leave. But to understand that and to get there, one of the things I always tell people, to know that you don't know, when you don't know that you don't know, when you don't know that you don't know, it's like a bridge that is so hard to cross, when you don't know that you don't know. And that is what is important, very important, that you start your new reality. So you start to know that you didn't know, that you didn't have to cry so much and suffer so many years, that you were never alone, that you're not alone, that you love, that you're depressed and want to end your life, and you see no other way around. That's when you don't know that you don't know, that life is delicious. And there's so many new people out there that you can bring into your life. They're amazing. Because if one thing you need to learn, and you're going to learn once you really do the exercises, you're going to learn one thing that is important, that there's more good people on earth than bad. Think of it, one person, only one, that you tell, oh yeah, that person is good. Okay, there's millions of those good people out there. And when you know, and you heal, and you forgive yourself, and you go through the process and the exercises, you write down each and every feeling that you had when it happened to you. You acknowledge your feelings, like I said, crying and all that. You do not blame anybody. You write down how you were in the past before it happened, and you come to terms with yourself that I have forgiven myself. I've forgiven myself. You don't have to forgive the people that did all this stuff, like whoever domestic violence or whatever happened to you in the past, you don't have to forgive them. It's not even important anymore. What's important is you forgive yourself that you were in there, that you ended up in there, you know. That forgive that it happened. Allow yourself to move on. Allow yourself to let the past where it belongs and stay in the present. And why I never talk about the future, because it doesn't even exist, for goodness sake. But if you're living a badass present, you're gonna have a badass future. So live with the understanding that today is your best day and only good things are happening to you. And I look forward for you to have the best days ever, for you to understand that it's not dark every day. The sun shines every single day at the same time. And it shines for all of us exactly the same way, just like the moon brightens our nights. When you feel really, really, really down, really lonely, look up, outside your window, wherever you are, and you're definitely going to see two things, either the sun or the moon. We have never been alone. You have never been alone. Thank you.